Hello, welcome to an episode of Bubbs Talking Baseball. Today we have a very special guest, Mario Gomez, diehard New York Yankees fan. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. Doing all right, just waiting for Judge to finally sign with the Yankees, like all of us fans are.
Yeah, totally agree. It's been a long wait, but hopefully he signs soon, and hopefully it is back with the New York Yankees. So we got a lot to get into today. And talking a lot about the Yankees and a little bit too about the rest of the MLB and free agents and stuff like that. Obviously, right off the top, we got to start with Aaron Judge. Your thoughts on the whole free agency process so far, the rumors, and I guess at the end of this all, what is your gut feeling? Do you believe he is back with the New York Yankees?
All right, so obviously, with the rumors, it's crazy because every day you hear something different out of the San Francisco camp, and then Yankees news will leak from Heyman or whoever it is. Um, I feel like Judge wants to wait it out. I mean, the market isn't crazy for him as we know right now. It's pretty much just the Yankees and the Giants. I'm surprised that other teams haven't offered him that. I mean, we don't know so far, but I feel
Mhm.
like it's just the Yankees and Giants. I think he has to get the most AAV. That's what he's looking for. And
Yeah.
also, I feel like it matters to him that he gets more money than Cole because I think Cole is on a contract. I think it's 9 years, 324. So you think
Yep.
that's 36 a year, and I feel like he's gonna want more than that. So I want to say he's a Yankee. I think he's gonna be a Yankee. I feel like there'll be like some scary moments, that the Giants offered him this or that or whatever.
Mhm.
But I think the final deal will be around. I want to say 8 years. Hopefully 8 years. I don't want to go 9. I love the guy, but I feel like
Mhm.
8 years will be all right. That's good. Name him captain 8 years. I want to say like maybe like 325, 330 around there.
Yeah, I agree because it seems like he could very well be looking like you mentioned with Cole more than Cole. I think he deserves more than Cole. I mean, he's coming off of a season where he hit 62 home runs in
Yep.
the range of probably around 40 million, I would assume. So that would take him up, around 40 million per year.
Yep.
Around the 330 mark for 8 years because he's in a unique situation where you obviously know this where 30 years old, and he's not, most players getting their first contracts 23, 24. He's
Yeah.
getting at 30. So it is a unique situation. Kind of to add on to it though, like I kind of get this feeling amongst all Yankee fans. Would you agree that like if he doesn't come back, it would be like a kind of an awful moment for this franchise and be like an in a way almost like like an extreme low for this franchise? How if Hal Steinbrenner and Cashman can't bring him back after the year that he had?
I mean, definitely. I know a couple season ticket holders that I was talking to actually during one of the rain delays this year. And we kind of brought it up because, times were kind of tense during opening day because we
Mm-hmm.
thought he was going to get the extension there. And then the news came out and people were kind of like shocked. I know some of the fans were like upset with him that he didn't accept it because they were like, the casual fan would see it as, hey, Judge, you told us you want to be a Yankee for life. We
Mm-hmm.
gave you what I think it was 31 per year, something like that.
Yep.
And to a lot of people, me included, that's a lot of money. But obviously, the guy he bet on himself and he won.
Yep.
So, I mean, the Yankees got to pay him. It'll be a low when it comes to this franchise, definitely, because, kids come to the ballpark. I remember I passed by the team store and there was a kid that wanted a 99 jersey. You see him all over the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, all these owners just care about his money. The front office just cares about money. So I think it'd be a low, definitely. And it's kind of scary because a lot of Yankee fans don't know what the backup plan is as of now. If Judge
Mm-hmm.
doesn't sign, I mean, hopefully we don't want it to happen, but if you were to go to San Francisco or another team, hopefully it happens like in the next week, especially with winter meetings coming along.
Yep.
That way we can possibly get one of the shortstops, and there's other pieces out there we could possibly get to make us better. But Judge leaving would be a huge loss to this organization.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head. Like the whole but he's one of those players that he's going to sell tickets. People are going to go to the ballpark. There's a select few of them in the NFL, MLB, where you'll have Shohei, he'll sell tickets, Trout will sell tickets, Judge is going to sell tickets. There's a few of them. They're not a ton, but there's a few. And you have the whole Judge of Chambers too in right field, like all of that stuff. I agree. I think it would be awful for this franchise if he does go to San Francisco or does go to another team. So now we, move on, from Judge. I think we all agree that he's got to come back. Yankees got to do whatever it takes to bring him back. Anthony Rizzo obviously was a free agent. Yankees signed him pretty quickly, early on in the free agency process this offseason. Your thoughts on the re-signing of Rizzo and what he brings to the table for this team at first base?
I mean, definitely Rizzo. No doubt that the Yankees had to get him back. Obviously, first base market. I think it was just Rizzo, Abreu, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
say Josh Bell. Those are the three options. And I mean, Rizzo's done it in pinstripes already. I
Yep.
mean, I think the average was down this year a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no shift next year, which is great. Great for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the average will definitely go up. The short porch in right field, always good to have a lefty that could, you know, hit 30 bombs or more. But yeah, I feel like just in that situation, the Yankees didn't have an option. I mean, Rizzo, like I said, Rizzo did it in pinstripes already. He's done it already. And I mean, he's a great defensive first baseman too. I love him at first. So, I mean, it's just a no-brainer, I think, for the Yankees to bring him back. And he was Aaron Judge's best friend. So I think that
Yeah.
might help, maybe bring Judge back. Obviously, that helps bringing back Rizzo.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of people felt that if Rizzo were to go, you probably wouldn't see Judge back. But with Rizzo back, hopefully that kind of persuades Judge to come back. Obviously, if the money's there and stuff. Do you feel that Rizzo is? Like, I know like you mentioned, the average was down a little bit this year. Do you feel he still has two really solid years left? His bat, I think, fits Yankee Stadium short porch really well. Do you feel he has two really good years left?
Definitely. I mean, listen, Rizzo's a great guy, and I think he's gonna produce for us. You know, Obviously, I do have a little bit of worry about the back. I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
Rizzo guy, but I do worry
Yeah.
about the back a little bit. Honestly, I wish the Yankees would have gotten Olsen last off
Mm-hmm.
season. But I mean, listen, we're stuck with Rizzo. Not stuck with Rizzo because he's still a great player. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he's at the end of the day, he's still gonna produce for us. The average will go up a little bit. He is getting older, which is a little scary, especially because we have two first basemen that are banged up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Rizzo's fine, but his back issues have kind of been a problem. And then DJ with his toe,
Yeah.
that's another problem that we probably will get into.
Yeah, definitely. And you hope that down the road, possibly they find their first baseman solution. But for now, Rizzo, I like Rizzo a lot. You mentioned it, you like him a lot. He's great in the clubhouse, great
Yep.
leader. He fits the market too. From his days in Chicago to here, he has no issue playing in the New York market with all the pressure. So now we move on to, I guess you kind of call this the big three of the free agents. Judge obviously still out there. Rizzo signed. Now you go to Benintendi, where he was obviously brought in at the trade deadline, was a really nice piece for us, but got hurt. Didn't see him at all in the postseason. Do you see the Yankees bringing Benintendi back, and kind of do you think they should, even with the hand injury that he suffered early on in his Yankee career, Yankee tenure?
Yep. I mean, when it comes to Benny, I hope he's back. I feel like he made a difference. Definitely, he get his lineup, a little bit of more contact.
Mm-hmm.
I think the wrist injury was just a freak injury. I mean, Cashman didn't know that the guy was going to break his
Yeah.
wrist. I mean, Yankees traded for him, and I mean, I thought he was solid. I didn't think he was anything crazy, but definitely, I think they should bring him back. I know there's talk of possibly signing Yoshida. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Japanese left fielder. Apparently, he didn't strike out at all last year. His strikeouts were very low, so that's good. I mean, anybody who's going to make the team better. But listen, if the Yankees can't come to terms with Benny, Yoshida would be an option. But I don't know what the market's going to be like for Benintendi right now because it's the outfielders out there. I don't see a lot.
Hmm.
after Judge. So, I mean, the Yankees get Judge, let's say. Benintendi, I don't know how much he's asking for, if he wants to come back. Nobody knows he wants to come back.
Yeah.
It's always been kind of quiet, uh, out of his camp that we haven't got anything saying, Andrew wants to be a Yankee. I don't feel like I've heard a lot about that. So I'm just hoping the Yankees, get the Judge deal done with and then hopefully contact Benintendi's camp to see what's up if he wants to be back and, you know, see if, we could sign him.
Yeah. And you kind of talked about a little bit there too. Like, if Judge leaves, let's say, I think we all kind of assume Judge is probably going to sign before Benintendi. Do you feel that would have to put the pressure on the Yankees to bring back Benintendi? Because if Judge goes and Benintendi's gone, well, now you're just stuck with Bader, who was phenomenal last year. Then your right field and left field, although you do have Oswaldo, but Hicks is Hicks. So do you feel that would put the pressure on them to have to bring Benintendi back if Judge walks?
I mean, definitely they would have to. It probably be like a brand new team. Honestly, they probably
Yeah.
ship a couple guys away. I mean, I know they're trying to trade away Donaldson and Hicks. So
Hmm.
right now, the outfield, as it stands right now at this moment, is Bader in center. The Yankees technically be Hicks in left and Giancarlo in right. That's how it would
Hmm.
be. And Giancarlo with his injury history and things like that. I think the Yankees want to make him more of a DH, put him in the outfield 2 to 3 days. So I think definitely you know if Judge were to walk, Benintendi has to be re-signed, and the Yankees would have to do, trade possibly for a top right fielder in baseball. I don't know who's available, but I think definitely they have to bring back Benintendi. Judge is gone.
Yeah, definitely agree. I would love to have both of them back. That would be a pretty scary outfield with Benny, Bader, and then Judge left to right. So now we get into the rest of the MLB, rest of the free agents here. Um, who do you feel out of the rest of the Yankees free agents that they could possibly bring back? And I guess in a way, what would be like your three big free agents that you would like to see the Yankees acquire from other teams, whether that's Correa, Trey Turner? Do you think they bring Tyone back? Kind of your thoughts on the rest of the free agent market revolving around the Yankees.
Okay, so definitely we talked about Benintendi already.
Mm-hmm.
If it was my team and I could spend all the money,
Mm-hmm.
I would go Benintendi left, obviously, resign Judge. I think that's like the two most important things to do. And I mean, you see Houston with their starting pitching. If you can get me a starter, I know everybody likes Carlos Rodon,
Mm-hmm.
former Giant. I know he's a free agent right now. If the Yankees could get him, I know he's a Boris guy. So was Cole.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's a connection there. I know Verlander's a little bit older.
Yep.
The guy just came off a Cy Young season. If you can give him like maybe a 2 year deal, I mean, he kills the Yankees. So, if they could take him off Houston's hands and sign him here, that'd be great. So either between Rodon and Verlander, one of those two would be great. Preferably Rodon. I would like a lefty. That'd be good. So Cole, Nestor, Sevy, Rodon. That'd be great. When it comes to shortstops, I know a lot of Yankee fans don't like him because the cheating scandal and all that, but I would
Mm-hmm.
love Correa. I feel like the Yankees need that villain, and he fits that. I know Trey Turner's a great player as well,
Mm-hmm.
but if they can get Correa here, I feel like he just has that he doesn't care if the fans boo him or whatever. He's just gonna go out there, he's just gonna play. I know he's had injuries here and there, but I would love Correa to be the Yankee shortstop. That would be a dream to have Correa at short. Dream off season, Correa at short, Rodon on the mound, and then Judge and right with Benny. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be be big, big, big spending. Obviously, there. I think shortstop's definitely something that the Yankees need, whether they go the prospect route, whether they go the free agent route, however it kind of plays out. I know you're obviously big, big Gleyber Torres fan, so do you feel that as we kind of shift in here to the infielders, outfielders, and rest of the team, do you feel that the trade rumor, do you feel he is going to get traded? And I know you obviously don't want him to get traded, but do you feel that the Yankees are truly trying to move him? Obviously, you heard at the deadline possibility with Miami to get Pablo Lopez. Do you see that being true, or do you think it's kind of just maybe them just going around?
So, I mean, with Glaber, I know he's dealt with, you know, being traded. He got traded from Chicago to the Yankees.
Mhm.
I don't want him to be traded.
Yeah.
Do I think he's gonna be traded? If I think DJ's healthy, they're gonna do everything in their power to trade him. His value's high right now. Um, I don't know what team are looking for the second baseman. I know that before I even got on here, that the Brewers traded Colton Wong to Seattle, so that was a possible suitor for Glaber. So that's a team that probably won't be looking into getting a second baseman because they got Seattle sent Winker and Abraham Toro to
Mhm.
Milwaukee, so they both got their second baseman. So I mean, I know Miami. Maybe they revisit the Miami trade with Pablo Lopez. I'm not too crazy about Pablo Lopez. I rather get Rodon, obviously,
Mhm. Yeah.
but Rodon's free agency. That's not trading Glaber. So I don't know. The DJ news has kind of been like quiet. Like
Yeah.
they had like a little tweet. I forgot who it was. It might have been Morosi or somebody like that or Hoke.
Mhm.
And they tweeted out saying that we'll know in like 6 weeks. I'm not sure when it was, but they said that we would know like I think middle of December what's DJ's status if he's gonna get surgery. And I personally would not trade Glaber and have Volpe and Peraza up the middle. That's what I think it's gonna be if Glaber is traded. Volpe and Peraza up the middle. You know, two rookies technically, because I mean Peraza was here for what a month or so.
Mhm.
So I mean, if it all depends on DJ's status. If DJ is good to go, and if he's ready by like I don't know, March, like the first week of March, because opening day starts, I think, like late March. I think the Yankees will trade Glaber, but it kind of all depends on what DJ status is. Like the Yankees will sign Judge, and then they'll kind of go from there and see what's up with DJ. If DJ is good to go, and then they'll see. So if DJ's good, then I think Glaber's gone.
Yeah, because it would be interesting, obviously, like you mentioned, to see do they go the younger route with Glaber or the veteran route with DJ. But DJ with the toe, it's definitely interesting. Something that you, as you mentioned, will probably develop over the course of the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we start to get answers here, which has kind of been a slower start to the off season, which usually how it is till things start to pick up with the winter meetings and stuff. We go now to the rest of the infield. We've talked about DJ, talked about Glaber. Donaldson this year, obviously trading him away. I guess your impressions on that, kind of just your first impressions, I guess, when the trade went down, getting rid of Gio and Gary, bringing in Donaldson and IKF, and then kind of where your thoughts are now on that deal with a full season, obviously, of that deal being done.
Yeah, obviously that happened. I think right after like the lockout ended.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Yankees were obviously looking at a bunch of different deals. Taking on, I think it was 2 years, 50 million of Donaldson. Yeah, it's a little bit older. I don't know what they were thinking, honestly. They could have just kept Gio and non-tendered Gary. That's like the big talk on Yankees Twitter that they could have just done that. And
Mm-hmm.
because Gio was a fan favorite, and you probably know a lot of Yankee fans, not me, but a lot of Yankee fans like Gio and hated Josh Donaldson.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then having IKF play short for I don't know what I think it was like 130 games this year was insanity. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, these guys believe in their prospects, so hopefully the prospects pan out. But going back to Donaldson and IKF was kind of a head scratcher because you could have just non-tendered Gary, still traded for Trevino, so Trevino would have been your catcher, Trevino and
Mm-hmm.
Higashioka, and then Gio could have been your third baseman, and then you could have had possibly signed the shortstop or had Peraza play short.
Yeah. IKF, I mean, he's obviously had a poor year at short. Do you see at the end of this all, do you see IKF remaining at short? Do they maybe make the move over to third? Kind of your thoughts on IKF, his future.
I think if they were to trade Donaldson away, I think they're working hard to get rid of Hicks or Donaldson.
Mm-hmm.
I see them trading Hicks, but depending on what they could do with Donaldson, either Donaldson or IKF are gone. I think I could see IKF being like a utility, like possibly getting
Mm-hmm.
like 25 to 20 starts at shortstop next year, even though it's not what the Yankees want. But if,
Mm-hmm.
if they were to have a youngster there, I could see like IKF just being like a utility guy, like playing short, third base, depending on, because Yankees and the rest, you know how it is. They always like to give guys the day off and stuff like that. So, I mean, maybe he can be utility, or if not, then he's probably gone.
Yeah. Yeah, the Yankees are, you know, they like to give it, you have a day off Sunday game, you have a day off on a Monday. They'll give you a day off on a Sunday, so you have the scheduled day off on a Monday. They love to
Double
give
off
their play.
days.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Um so I guess the kind of final three, I guess, are three young talented guys that definitely could to find themselves playing roles this year. I guess we'll start off with the guy that actually got a lot of playing time this year. Then we'll get to Prods and Volpe. But Oswaldo Cabrera, I mean, he could play everywhere. I could talk about him in the outfield, infielders. But kind of your thoughts on Oswaldo, because he was just a bolt of energy, could play everywhere, played all the positions he played, made some big time plays. Your thoughts on Oswaldo, and where could you see him fitting in next season?
Um, Honestly, when it comes to Oswaldo, you really don't know what the Yankees are gonna do. They
Mm-hmm.
could possibly have him in left. They could even have him at short. They could trade him. I think if they were to get rid of IKF, right, they could have him play the utility role,
Yep.
and he could play third, short, second, left, right. Like the kid, I mean, you saw last year, the kid could play anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I honestly wouldn't mind if the Yankees were to pencil him in and at third base next year on opening day. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
Mm-hmm.
If something didn't work with Benintendi and the Yankees didn't get a left fielder, I thought he was pretty good in left field next year, especially since um, he played left field this year. So I mean, I thought his defense was pretty good. So I wouldn't mind him either playing left field or third base or getting some starts at short. So I thought he was pretty good for us.
Yeah, he could kind of be, in a way, I guess, like a younger version of a DJ, where he's just more a little younger and more athletic version, where he could play just about anywhere. Although DJ's more just infield, he could spread it out, give you a little bit of outfield too. Um, Peraza and Volpe, we're all kind of hearing that the Yankees plan on incorporating them some way or another next season on the roster. Possibility of maybe having a spring training battle between the two. Um, your thoughts on that possibility, and kind of, I guess, too, to add on to that, like your thoughts on Peraza's little bit of his playing time that he got this year. I think all of us Yankee fans would have liked to see a little bit more. And also Volpe, obviously coming up the pipeline of in the minors.
Yep. I mean, when Peraza came up, I felt like with the opportunity that he was given, he was great. Obviously in the postseason, they sat IKF, in some big games, and they put Peraza in there, which was insanity to me.
Mm-hmm.
Having that young kid, putting him in that spot. Um, against some good pitching. I thought that he faced Framber, I think, in
Yeah,
game
I think
two
so.
against Houston, which was insane. Putting that kid in that tough spot. I don't want to say the Yankees. I hope the Yankees didn't ruin him. His confidence
Mm-hmm.
level and all that. But I feel like he's just a kid. He's gonna be ready to go. I honestly wouldn't. If he were to be the shortstop next year, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would love to see him, like a full season of him. But when it comes to Volpe, I know the hype has been, comparing him to Jeter and all this stuff. Like he's a great kid. He's like a top prospect for the Yankees. Personally, I went to go see him, and I know he's still young, but I would like to see him if Glaber were to be gone. I would have him as my second baseman. I'm not crazy about his arm, me personally. Peraza has like that strong arm across the diamond, which I like as a Yankee fan, just a baseball fan in general. I like shortstops with a stronger arm. Um, so I would put Volpe. I think Volpe's gonna hit either way. I think he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be able to hit major league pitching. Maybe not this year, but I mean possibly towards like the end of like the year, maybe towards August and the middle part of the season. I wouldn't mind seeing him up. I don't know about opening day. Maybe give him some time at AAA to see what
Mm-hmm.
he can do there. I mean, I think he only played a month there or so.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anything, just have Volpe play second base if you want to trade Glaber, by the All-Star break or by the deadline, and then bring Volpe up to play second. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I agree. I think I could definitely see the Yankees going the route of giving him a little bit more time in AAA because he was dominant in AAA. When he got up there, he was raking, but he didn't have a ton of time, and that's the last thing you want to do to a prospect is bring him up too early and then ruin him in a way. But I would love to see at least some point this year see Volpe up. I could definitely see. I agree with you, seeing him maybe if they do decide to move on from Glaber, Peraza maybe at short, Volpe at second, or something like that. Um, so now I guess we, continue on with the infielders. Your thoughts on the catching position? I don't think we expect many moves with that position. I guess how surprised in a good way were you by Jose Trevino and his performance this year? Obviously becoming an all-star, a guy that originally was never even going to be on the roster, and then we brought him in kind of last second. Your thoughts on his performance this season and what he can do to build off of it for next year?
Yeah, I mean, seeing Trevino, I mean, it was awesome. The first half of the season, him becoming an all-star, he was great defensively beyond the play, and the bat was a surprise. Towards the beginning of the season, it was awesome to see,
Mm-hmm.
especially because he's a great guy, he's a family guy, he's very
Mm-hmm.
likable, and that's what you kind of want in your clubhouse. So you definitely always root for the guy on your team, but knowing that Trevino's just a great person, that was awesome to see. Even though he struggled a little bit with the bat, towards the end of the season, you know, I mean, I don't. It's tough to get catchers that produce.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I mean, there's a handful of catchers that hit and play great defense, and I think the
Yep.
Yankees, their main focus is having a guy behind the plate that will make sure these pitchers are comfortable. Because the Yankees, out of their bullpen, they got some nasty guys. Even starting pitching, Nestor, Cole, he's got to manage all that. With Higgy, and I mean, Trevino was great. And then, we didn't think we thought Trevino was going to be the backup, honestly, with Higgy, and then Rortvet was out like most of
Yep.
the year. Rortvet was pretty much in AAA for like the whole. I mean, he came back, and it might have been August or so,
Yeah.
August or September, and he just stayed in AAA and just played AAA, for the whole year. I mean, Higgy was. I mean, I didn't expect much, but then you saw him in spring
Yeah.
training. He was raking, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, is Higgy gonna have like one of those years? Like we got rid of Gary, now Higgy's gonna like do his thing. He's probably the starter." And then I don't know, he just kind of just lost the job, and it was kind of sad to see because you thought Higgy was gonna be like the man, and because him and Cole were like the duo in 2021. So, I mean, I don't expect a lot of moves out of the catcher. It'd be nice if they could possibly trade Higgy and maybe get another catcher in here, but I don't see it happening. It's tough to get, really good catchers, especially now. I feel like the catching in the MLB is not great. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
really expect much, especially with the Yankees having to trade like Donaldson, Hicks, and guys like that. So
Yeah, I agree. Catching is kind of in the MLB now, kind of facing like a shift in a way where it's like, yeah, the days like Buster Posey, Salvador Perez, Yadier Molina. Posey's retired now, Molina's retired now. It's like Perez is ending the end of his career now. You kind of like need newer guys to come in and make their mark. Catching mark right now is definitely, I agree, kind of dull. It was crazy though, because Higgy, like you mentioned, he hit 8 home runs in spring training, and then he had like 10 home runs all of last year. So it was like it just didn't carry over into the regular season. So now we move into the outfield, where, as we've talked about already, Benintendi and Judge. So to focus on the others, um, your thoughts on Hicks? Do you believe they'll move Hicks? And are you like most Yankee fans? Do you want to see Hicks moved? Are you kind of done with him?
yeah, I mean, Yankee fans have been done with him
Yeah.
for a while now. Obviously, I don't know, just Hicks is just kind of old now. I mean, I feel like everybody says the same thing. He's just old. Last year him getting hurt in left field in the postseason, and he's just been awful. Honestly, there's no other way to put it. He was really bad. I think the Yankees are doing everything in their power to move him. It's not like a Donaldson scenario because I feel like Donaldson, I mean, he played Gold Glove third base. He was a great third baseman when it came to the defensive side, obviously not offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to Hicks, he just didn't really provide anything. Like, that play in left field where he dropped the ball and then it was in fair
Yeah.
territory and the fans were screaming at him. I was there. That was ugly.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that's like the Yankee. Besides signing Judge, I think the number one priority is to make sure he's not on the roster in 2023.
Yeah. So I agree. How much do you think they could get back for him, Hicks? Or do you think you could just see them cutting ties?
I mean, maybe a mid-level prospect, honestly, at this point, but you have to eat some money. I think that's the
Yeah.
problem. That's why I think they are going to have a problem with moving Donaldson and Hicks because I don't see them eating Donaldson's money. Even though Yankee fans are upset, with both of them, I just don't see them eating Donaldson's money, especially since they liked him defensively at their
Hmm.
base. Hey, maybe a team takes a flyer on a
Yeah.
37-year-old, 38-year-old, whatever he is, but I don't know. I just see them, moving on from Hicks at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I tend to agree because I think Donaldson, there's still that chance of a team looking at his defense and saying, all right, we'll take him. Hicks, it's like he made some boneheaded plays in the outfield, doesn't hit. The only thing he can do is walk a little bit, but that's about it.
Same except
Um,
backflips. That's
yeah.
all he's good at.
um, so now we go to Bader, who was phenomenal in postseason. I mean, he was, one of the only reasons why we were able to at least he really was just the only guy hitting in the postseason. I mean, Stan had obviously a couple of big hits too.
Yeah,
Um, so I know you actually met Bader. So take me through that. That was probably a really cool experience.
yeah. My dad is a high school baseball coach in the city, and he was recruiting some of the kids. They were at, I think, one of like the cages in New York, and I guess Bader's hitting coach was there. So my dad called me, and I didn't know. Like at first, he was like he just gave me like a regular phone call. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, you center fielders here or whatever," and I was like, I almost told him Johnny Damon because that's the center
Yeah.
fielder who we had when we won the World Series or whatever. And he was like, and I was like Bader, and he's like yeah, he's here with the kids. And then my dad was like, hey, I was actually just watching some TV and like just looking through some Yankees news and stuff like that, trying to find anything. And my dad was like, hey, somebody wants to talk to you. And I was just talking to Bader for a little bit. I just like thanked him and stuff. I was like, hey, listen, man, like we weren't crazy. I didn't tell him we weren't crazy, but I just told him like we're happy that you're in New York or whatever. Like we didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with the Monty trade, like we didn't know what to expect, but you killed it and all that. So we're happy to have you. And I told him because my birthday was coming, I was like, yo, I bought your jersey. Like you're the man. This, that, and the third. We're happy to have him.
Yeah, he was phenomenal in the postseason. And I mean, his defense is one of the best, obviously, in baseball. Um, so I guess your thoughts too on I guess to kind of go back to it when you saw Monty pitching all those great games against St. Louis for St. Louis. One of those was actually against us. Your thoughts on like at first kind of how you felt about the deal when you see Monty dominating in with the Cardinals and Bader at first wasn't playing and then to where it is now where Bader's just amazing for us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at first when the news like we got it at the stadium, me, I was shocked. Like I was with a group of friends. I was shocked hearing about the news. And seeing Monty, I was a Monty guy, honestly. Like I feel like he was a little bit underappreciated by fans because I don't know, I feel like, he went out there. I mean, all the guys give their best effort,
Mm-hmm.
but I just felt like Monty, I think he said something like on the R2C2 podcast with like CC and Ryan Rucco, he was like, my something with my fastball, like the Yankees didn't let him throw his fastball at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was more just like a lot of junk, off speed stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Monty was never going to pitch for us in the postseason. I don't
Yeah.
think, at least. And, we traded for Montas, even though he wasn't good at all. But I think he was hurt. Hopefully, he'll bounce back this year. But not seeing Monty deal against us, obviously it hurt because I liked the guy. And Peter, we got him. He was in a walking boot, and nobody
Yeah.
really knew what he was going to be. I didn't expect much. I just expected like a platinum glove center fielder
Mm-hmm.
when he came back because his hitting stats, I don't think they were crazy at all when he was, or they weren't good when he was playing for St. Louis. But seeing him, a kid from Bronxville, New York, hitting in the postseason was great. He's a fan favorite now.
Mm-hmm.
We love him in New York. We're just happy that he's here.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely a guy that I'm excited to see what he can do next year for a full season with us, out in center field. All right, so now we go to the pitchers. We'll start with the starting pitchers, and then we can go to the bullpen. Um, Obviously, Cole this year was the big storyline. After the bad start last year in the wild card game against Fenway, went into the offseason with a lot of pressure to come out this season and deliver, the whole spider tack situation, all that stuff. I guess how did you feel he responded to that? And overall, your thoughts on his season? And his postseason was phenomenal. Obviously, he pitched the big game 4 against Cleveland, did his job throughout the postseason, which he's actually, other than the Red Sox star, has done his job for the Yankees in the postseason. But your thoughts on his regular season, obviously coming out of last year, which was all the spider tack stuff and the bad start against Boston. Kind of your thoughts on how he bounced back this year?
Yeah, I mean, definitely when it comes to Garrett, we all know about his home run issues. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a little bit of a problem that I think he will, look at, and he'll fix that problem. I think he will. I don't know how much it's gonna be because everybody gives up homers.
Yep.
It's normal.
Yeah.
You just gotta trust his fastball, I think. And no, I mean, I think he didn't have a Cy Young year. He wasn't top 3 in the voting or anything like that. But at the end of the day, the Yankees pay him so he can pitch well in October, and that's what he did. Obviously, the Houston series, that one start that he had, the whole team is kind of just running on fumes.
Yeah.
The fan base kind of knew, like, I don't want to say we threw, like, the games were over all before they even started, but we pretty much knew it'd be tough to come back
Mm-hmm.
from. And then there was a drop fly ball in the outfield that happened. Then he gave up the homer. And then that's when kind of the series we pretty much knew it was over. But I mean, he was great, in my opinion, in the postseason for us. And I think he was just good this year. I don't think he was, Cy Young level, but I think he was
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was solid at the top of the rotation. So you go to the rest of the rotation. You got to start with Nasty. I mean, what a year for him. I mean, All Star, similar to Trevino, was first time All Star. Um, your thoughts on him? His just nasty doing nasty things. With
Yeah,
the sidearm and the different windups and all that stuff. And do you believe that he's going to continue this? I know there's a lot of people out there that do believe it, but definitely, maybe some that think this is just some sort of hot stretch. I tend to believe that this is who he is. I think the Yankees have worked with him very good, and they've turned him into this type of pitcher. Kind of your thoughts on Nestor, and do you believe this is going to be what we're going to see going forward?
definitely. When Nestor was, I feel like it was a magic carpet ride that we were watching him pitch. Like
Mm-hmm.
every time he was pitching, it was a hot ticket. People want to come and see
Yep.
him. He's entertaining. And I feel like MLB is missing that. Guys that like
Yeah.
entertain. Like everybody throws 98, but the leg kick, the sidearm. He's a good person. Always interacting with the fans. That's the guy you want on your team, especially. And he's a good pitcher, which is great. So Nestor had a phenomenal year. Um, a lot of innings this year for him. Obviously, it does
Mm-hmm.
worry me a little bit because he is pitching in the World Baseball Classic for the USA this year. But
Yep.
I mean, Nestor was fantastic, and I just hope he just continues on. I think he's gonna be fine. But yeah, I'm excited to see him next year again.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's gonna come out next year and have a solid year. It will be interesting to see how he does. Obviously, coming off of all the innings, especially with the groin injury late in the year. But I think he'll be all right. So you go to the rest of the rotation: Tyone, Sevy, Montez, who we acquired at the deadline. Had the injury, just didn't really ever find his footing last year. Your thoughts on the rest of the rotation? Obviously, they picked up Sevy's option. Montez, Tyone, just the rest of the starting rotation. Throw Herman in there as well.
Yep. Since you mentioned Herman, Herman, I think he was great for like what he did, even though obviously his off the field stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's unacceptable. But when it comes to the guy as a pitcher, I think it was pretty good. The Yankees traded for Monty, then Herman came in, he was doing his thing. So that was good to see. JMO's a free agent now. So going to JMO.
Yep.
JMO's a free agent. I don't think the Yankees will bring him back, honestly. He's probably gonna get some money from like Texas or some team that
Yeah.
really, really needs starting pitching. And I think the Yankees aren't going to give him the 4 years, 80 million that he wants. But this year I think he was pretty good. I mean, I think he won like a crazy amount of games, like 14 games or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah, something like that.
But I think it was decent, for what I thought we were gonna get out of him. So that was pretty good. Montas, obviously, just the Yankees traded for him, and I feel like he was still hurt. And fans were upset we didn't get Castillo. but
Mhm.
the Reds wanted a lot for him, and then it just didn't work out. And the Yankees ended up trading for Frankie, and then Frankie, I feel like he was hurt, but at the end of the day, if you're hurt, don't pitch. That's like the end.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, if you're hurt and you're not gonna give us your best or whatever, then don't get on the mound. It's not nothing against the guy, but I just don't want him hurting himself more. Because he's hurting the team at the end of the day. So that's the one thing that I just feel like he was hurt. Hopefully he'll bounce back this year because I think this is his last year on his like deal. I think he's a free agent after this year. So
Mhm.
and then Severino, obviously Sevy was great. I think he had like that lat issue that he had
Yeah.
um in the year that I think he got rocked one start and then he had like that problem. So he was on the IL for a while. The Yankees kind of like shut him down for like a month or so. But I thought he was pretty good. Obviously Savvy pitches with emotion, so I like that. But yeah, I think Savvy was pretty good as well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. How do you see the I know you mentioned Rodon earlier, if you want to throw a free agent acquisition in there too, what would be like your ideal five-man rotation next year?
Uh, Cole, Rodon, that'd be all. I think the Yankees will get a starter. I think they'll get a
Mhm.
high level starter. So Cole, Rodon, Nestor, Severino, and then you could have Herman or Clark Schmidt, depending on what happens with Michael King.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be that's a, solid rotation with, Rodon, Cole and Nasty at the top. So now you go to the bullpen, which was so promising to start the year, and then Clay Holmes started to struggle a little bit, injuries. Michael King was a huge loss for us. Bullpen or bull in the playoffs, the bullpen was so thin. Um, your thoughts on kind of just the bullpen this year, and where do you feel it went wrong? Do you think it was more injuries? Do you think it was kind of like Clay Holmes just outplaying the back of his playing card earlier in the year? What do you kind of feel went wrong with the bullpen after such a promising start in the early parts of the season?
I mean, yeah, going to Clay Holmes, I think it might have just been that he threw too many innings,
Hmm.
at the Yankees. I know they try to protect him and all that, but the problem was they didn't have him a closer. It was just Holmes. So like he had that one like blow up start where he couldn't find the zone at all against the Reds, and that was kind of like eye opening to fans because I mean, having a guy throw, I don't know, I think it was like 5 out of 7 days in the week, especially nowadays, like that's kind of crazy to hear because a lot of relievers don't do that, especially like earlier in the season. So I think that was an issue. But besides that, Clay Holmes in the beginning of the year was awesome, but actually towards the end he struggled a lot. The loss of Michael King probably hurt him the most. I feel like that's when the season kind of just turned around. He had so many big he came in with a bunch of guys on, always got out of it. I feel like he was on his way to being an all-star. I mean,
Hmm.
the guy was fantastic. He's the best reliever in baseball, in my opinion. He was top three, you know.
Hmm.
And then a lot of the young guys like Ron and I mean, they did their thing, but the bullpen was too thin, and then the Chapman problems, then
Yeah.
Castro went down. So I feel like it was injuries, but the Yankees have to do like a better job of addressing. And then obviously Wandy. I can't believe I forgot to mention Wandy. Wandy was fantastic.
Yeah, Wandy was. I like Wandy too. He's also
Yeah.
another guy too that kind of brings that energy to the clubhouse too. Um, Miguel Castro, he signed somewhere else. I forget who it
The
was.
Diamondbacks. He just signed today.
Diamondback.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yep.
signed a couple hours ago. Yeah. So yeah, he wasn't used a ton and he was hurt a little bit. But I know you kind of mentioned Marinaccio too. Do you see him fitting in next year? I know they had him down in AAA for a little while Albert Abreu was up, which I
Oh my God.
disagreed with. But it's because Abreu the way if they couldn't option him or whatever, so
Yep.
they had to just go with Marinaccio. Do you see him playing a role with them next season?
Definitely. Obviously, I think the Yankees just have to manage the innings. I mean, they do it already. You know how they are with their guys. So they got to be like careful, like especially in the beginning of the year, it's a little bit colder out.
Hmm.
But I think he definitely is going to play a big role. I think his stuff is nasty. Um, but yeah, I definitely could see him, getting big timeouts in the seventh or eighth, possibly for the Yankees. Um, next year.
Yeah, I agree. Your thoughts on the whole Chapman situation, and do you think he's gone. I mean, I think we all kind of believe
Yeah.
he's gone. Him and then Britton in there too, which came back, got hurt, and he's seems like his days as a Yankee are over too.
Yeah, I mean, Chapman has just been a mess. Like his relationship with Yankee fans, it's not even a toxic relationship. It's just the Yankee fans hate him. I don't remember a time where Yankee fans liked him, especially with
Mhm.
giving up the homer to Altuve.
Yeah.
I think that just sent the Yankee fan to another level, especially with the hatred towards the Astros. Them beating us the past couple years.
Mhm.
Um, Chapman giving up a big homer to Brasso.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it's just the Yankee fan is just tired of Aroldis Chapman at this point. I don't think he's gonna come back, especially not showing up to the one workout
Yeah.
um before the playoffs here. The guy just didn't show up, which is insane. You're getting paid, and the guy's like, nah, because the Yankees didn't promise him a spot.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was awful this year. And then Britton with his injuries, I wish him the best and all, but I don't think the Yankees bring him back, not even on a 1 year deal. So I don't think either of those guys are back. And then Chad Green, he's another one that got hurt. I don't know what's his deal, what's going on with him, but he's another one. I think the Yankees just try to get like cheap relievers and see what they can do with them. The Yankees are good with finding relievers, so I don't have a problem
Mhm.
with whoever they get.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job finding some arms in the bullpen. Scott Efros, another guy too that got hurt, which was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
I know you kind of mentioned, you see them going out for kind of, low level guys, more, guys that they can bring in and kind of develop more. But do you see them having, do you think the closer is on the roster right now? Do you think it is Clay Holmes, or if they use Wandy, or do you think they go out and get somebody?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't like the whole mixing and matching kind of thing. Like, I feel
Hmm.
like you should have a set closer. That's the biggest thing. But I think it is probably going to be Clay Holmes. I
Hmm.
feel like the Yankees are just going to manage him a little better next year when it comes to the innings and things like that. Obviously, like
Hmm.
they won't let him close like 3 days in a row or something like that. Like they'll have Wandy or something. They'll just manage the bullpen
Hmm.
better. But I do think it's going to be Clay Holmes, and they'll have Wandy like get the heart of the order in like the seventh or the eighth, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of the route that they'll go. So, now we finish things off here. Two final questions. So, I guess I'll start off with this. Just generally looking over the entire team this year, um, your thoughts on them bringing back Boone and Cashman as well, looking like he's gonna remain as general manager. Are you okay with that? Do you feel that they need new faces in here? Where do you stand on the
Yeah.
Boone and Cashman?
I mean, when it comes to Boone, I feel like some Yankee fans like just don't understand that the thing is that it's all about analytics now. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just baseball now. It's just all about analytics. And Boone's gonna listen to what they tell him at the end of the day. I feel like it's not Boone making, the choices. He's given like a sheet of paper or
Hmm.
whatever it is, even though it's crazy to say like, I mean, the guy's the manager of a team. Like he should be
Yeah.
making the decisions. But I feel like this was overlooked in when the Yankees were going through a really bad stretch during the 21 season. Cashman came on the Michael K show, and I feel like nobody like ever mentioned this, but he said something to like, we trust Aaron that he's given, the opportunity to make his own moves.
Hmm.
But if he were to mess up, we give our managers, we let them do what they have to do, making the moves, but we give them the information. And if the information is not read like properly, I'm guessing that like Boone made a move on his own and
Hmm.
it didn't work that way, then they have to listen to us. He didn't say that like those exact words, but he said something along those lines. So I mean, listen, either way, if they would have got Boone fired, got rid of Boone, the fans would have been excited, but they would have brought in another yes man. They would have brought in another guy that was going to listen to the analytic department
Hmm.
and do what they say. That's just how it is. And then when it comes to Brian Cashman, I don't know. I just feel like the IKF Donaldson trade was like his like last kind of straw with like Yankee
Hmm.
fans. Like he might have to take like a step back, but Hal sees them as like they're like family. Him,
Yeah.
him and Cashman. Like Cashman's not gonna be gone until he doesn't want the job anymore. That's just how it is. As long as like the Yankees are above water and they're making the playoffs every year, even though the fan doesn't want to hear it, but you just gotta. you got to be realistic. That's just what Hal's okay with it. They make the playoffs every year, and the fans keep coming in, then Hal's fine with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is very analytically driven, and I think Cashman and obviously people upper in the organization have a lot to say of what's going on in the field, not just Boone. So it'll be interesting to see, how much longer Boone and Cashman are here, if it is throughout the full remaining, 3 years or whatever it is left on Boone's deal after they gave him the extension. But it'll be interesting. So now, final question. Talking about everything now, off season, hopefully really starting to heat up here. What is your ideal? Obviously, told me the starting pitchers, 5-man rotation. What is your ideal lineup, 1 through 9, opening day next year against San Francisco? Hopefully Judge is on the Yankees
Hopefully.
in that game.
Um, Probably if I don't know, probably have Benintendi leading off. I want to say Judge and Wright playing for the Yankees, obviously, of
Yeah.
course. Um, Rizzo at first, batting third. I'll say Correa at short, even though I don't think it's gonna happen. That'd be great. Correa at short, hitting 4. Giancarlo 5, DH. Glaber 6, second base. I think it's gonna be Donaldson, even though Yankee fans don't want to hear. I think it's gonna be Donaldson 7 at third. Trevino 8 catching, and then Bader center field 9.
All right. Yeah. I think that's definitely possible. I think I would love to bring in like a Trey Turner or Correa or somebody like that.
I think Trey
The
Turner is more realistic, or Bogarts possibly.
Bogarts could be,
Yeah,
yeah. Although if Bogarts wants to go to, a rival, we'll see.
yeah,
But
that's fine.
yeah, it'll be interesting. I think priority number one is obviously bring Judge back and then go from there. I would love to see them make another splash, whether that's pitcher, infielder.
Yeah,
Again, I think outfield, if you bring back Benintendi and Judge, as we mentioned, your outfield's fine. Those are 3 very, very solid players and 3 guys that can do a lot of damage. So I guess to close things out here, obviously you're known by a lot of Yankee fans, but tell everybody where they can find you, Twitter, all your social media and stuff.
yeah. I mean, you could find me on Twitter. It's Mario A Gomez _1. You could find me on there. I'm always at the stadium. I sit usually somewhere in the bleachers, either 203, 202, or 204. So you can find me there in the right field bleachers.
All right. Yep. All right. So thanks for coming on. Really appreciate this. And as always, hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for listening.